Hello. So, as to not disclose my face, I friends know who I am, but I would like to start recording videos. Everybody kept telling me make a YouTube channel, make a new YouTube channel, make a YouTube channel. We want to hear you speak about this. You should spread this information to the world. So, here I am recording my first video. So, what I want to do is I want to start a channel, and I will start by making videos on this channel where I explain concepts in as simple terms as possible to help people wake up and understand what is going on around them. And today I want to start with, I guess, I'll start with plastic, because right now I'm in Africa, so there's this whole thing of like everybody drinks out of plastic bags and stuff. So a lot of people just don't understand plastic, what it is, how it works. Imagine this: you have essentially a carbon structure, complex carbon structure. Just like imagine like a long necklace. You've got a very long necklace with beads. These beads are, let's say they're wooden beads. So this wood, in order to not spoil, in order to not go bad, right? Not to have the elements do their stuff on them, to not have them like absorb water, get bigger, all that. You cover them with like lacquer, or like you can cover them with like super glue or something. It wouldn't matter, just like to make sure that the surface is covered and it's not like just finished, polished off, you know. So what plastic is essentially this carbon chain, this necklace, and then the polishing around it, which is hydrogen. So what happens is that over time, as plastic comes into contact with anything, really, with the air, with water, like the drinks inside, anything, there is always energy transfer going on. Like everything contains some amount of energy, and so there's always energy transfer. Like you feel cold, you touch something that's colder than you give it some of your energy and you feel the cold, but you touch something hotter than you feel the energy and you absorb some of it and you feel the heat. There's always energy transfer going on everywhere in the world. Many great people speak, if you want to understand the world, you have to think in terms of energy. I think Tesla said that. But yeah, so this energy transfer that occurs on the edge of the plastic where the hydrogens are sticking out, you have energy that is breaking off these hydrogen atoms. So it's essentially making the plastic more unstable, and it's releasing these loose hydrogens into the drink, into like onto the surface of it. So this hydrogen, when it goes into your drink, like let's say how I drink this water, if you put it in the sun heats it up. There's huge energy transfer. It's absorbing a lot of energy, which causes a lot of hydrogen to break up and enter the water. When you drink this water, you're essentially drinking sometimes small bits of plastic, but that's not that big a problem. The problem is the carbon chain. It's covered by these hydrogens. So this hydrogen, when it breaks off, it acts as free radicals inside of your cells, inside of your body. Now, you maybe took biology or not. Free radicals are essentially just loose electrons that, for stabilization, they cling on to almost anything around themselves and they break structures. They essentially create different structures when they attach to something. Imagine you got like a puzzle piece that doesn't fit, and you plug it in somewhere because just it fit by the shape, but it doesn't create the picture, right? So when it's doing that all around, like your mitochondria, it produces free radicals when it's trying to produce energy for you when you're burning fat. So due to like the breakdown of some elements, you have free radicals that get released. So these free radicals, what you do is you inside of the cell you have this organelle called the lysosome, and it's full of antioxidants usually. And so these antioxidants, they catch these loose electrons and they fill up. So this lysosome then, when this antioxidant ring gets filled up with a bunch of loose electrons and it becomes full, it sends it out of the body and you excrete it. You go to the bathroom, you urinate it out. So what happens is, if you're not consuming, especially in the standard American diet, you are definitely not consuming the numerous amounts of antioxidants as you should be. So what happens is these free radicals, they start changing your cells, like they start touching parts, they start changing the structures of things, they start making errors inside of your cells. When they start making errors inside of your cells, well, that's mutation. And what is cancer? Cancer is genetic mutation, right? So mutation, like people fear cancer, people fear mutations and stuff. They think it's like, oh, a third eye, a third hand, like 2 heads, something like that. No, that's not necessarily. Mutations go on inside of your cells all the time. Like most of your genetic expression is a mutation. Somebody has blue eyes, somebody has black eyes, somebody has white skin, somebody has dark skin. Like these are all genetic mutations. They're triggered by our different environments in which we exist, and the different surroundings that we surround ourselves with, and the different consumption that occurs inside of our body. Like what we put in, you are what you eat, right? You put in plastic-filled drinks, you have to digest that plastic, and that is what's causing a lot of cancer. Now, with the American diet, you're also like, I know that lots of people will eat like a smaller plate, pay like $5 or like $10 if you're in the city or something in New York. You eat like a small plate, you'll eat like 3 of these plates a day. And in between the meals, you won't be taking larger amounts of time. You'll be waiting. Like, oh, lots of people like to snack. They'll eat one snack, 2 hours later they're hungry, they'll eat another snack, they'll eat like a bar, they'll eat some candy, doesn't matter. What you're doing every single time you're snacking is you're resetting the body's natural ability to cleanse itself, called autophagy. So this autophagy is essentially, it's a growth hormone that is released that starts triggering the breakdown of broken down parts inside of your body, of broken down cells. So you have, like, let's say you have a cancerous cell, right? You have a cell with plenty of mutations. Usually what happens is, if you stop consuming food for a few hours, not really a few, like at least I would say like 8 to 12 hours, no problem, just go without food. This doesn't even make autophagy reach its 100 percentile mark for the concentrations of it inside of your body and blood. When you stop to consume food, you produce this growth hormone, and it starts to break apart all of these broken down parts. It takes them out and it makes the body build new parts. This requires a lot of energy. Therefore, when you're constantly eating, you're constantly dosing yourself up with some sugars. You're not really entering the state of burning fat. You're not entering the state of ketosis, and you're not allowing your fat to burn down. There's the reason why you get like these the love handles and whatnot. You get some of that fat that you can't get rid of. It's because you're not really allowing your body to enter this state of burning fat. So like before, animals, even now animals, like if an animal gets sick in the wild, it would probably go 3, 4, 5 days without food. It just wouldn't eat. It would walk, because movement stimulates cellular reproduction. It stimulates your immune system. Just walking, like the simple act of walking, you don't have to run to be healthy. All you really have to do, like all these people, like New York is full of runners who are like running to stay healthy. All you really have to do is you have to just get up off the couch. You can even just take your phone with you, doesn't matter. Plug in some headphones, take a walk outside, man. Like it's cold right now outside, that's perfect. Like I'm stuck here in Africa, I don't have any cold. But you go outside, you breathe in this fresh air, this fresh cold air. Go next to the water, breathe all of this in, all of this clean oxygen. Oxygenation causes your body to heat up. Like you can look up Wim Hof and his breathing technique. It goes like, you inhale lots of oxygen per breath, and so you just like slowly release it out, and you just keep oxygenating your body. This oxygenation allows your body to heat up, and all this oxygen actually allows your body to get rid of all of this disease. It gives your body more oxygen to attach loose particles. Like you need oxygen. You're not just made of, like, you can go like 1 month without food, a week without water, but you can't go like a few minutes without air. You need the oxygen. A lot of people take for granted their breathing. You're not aware of how deep you breathe, of how you breathe. Probably because you've been numbed down by all of these toxins all around you. And I wouldn't blame you. You can't know something that would make you smarter than the rest, that would make you start questioning reality, that would make you start questioning yourself and what you're doing here. That's very counterproductive to a society that's based on monetary gain and only for an elite few individuals. So right here in Africa, like, I know that in New York they banned foam. Foam is very toxic. It's like very unstable and very weak forms of plastic that are super, super unstable, and they very rapidly and very quickly release all of this hydrogen, and like just allowing your food, your drinks to get contaminated by these free radicals, which you then consume, and then you're essentially poisoning your own self, and you gotta pay money, and it's super cheap. You go get a can of soda, and like there's a bunch of like other toxic ingredients in there that you shouldn't be consuming, but like you just don't know them, you don't know their names. Like at least in the European Union, you have like for all compounds that are put into food, or like preservatives and stuff and emulsifiers, they have like an E number. They're labeled. You can look it up online and you can read about the effects and what this does and what kind of effect it causes on your body. In America, it doesn't have to be labeled. So this is further misleading people and like just poisoning them. And this is so bad. So coming back to plastic, like you have to stop using plastic. You have to switch to wooden, metal wares, to cook your food with, to consume your food with. Like all of these like pots and pan, like frying pans and whatnot, now being covered with like Teflon. you have to understand, once again, you're cooking food, right? Energy transfer. You have a lot of heat being produced underneath, that is, heat rises, so it's causing all of these particles to come out. And like, what is this Teflon made of? Like, you're putting this Teflon essentially in your food, and then you're consuming it. And then why are you digesting Teflon? You're just literally poisoning yourself, and you're not allowing your body the time usually to process all of these chemicals out. Like, in order to reach the maximum state of autophagy, when it reaches levels of like 300 300% of concentrations in your blood for FGF21, the fibroblast growth factor, that growth hormone that protects you. It's a survivability hormone, and you have to go a whole day without food. A lot of people can't imagine what it's like. Oh my God, you're expecting me to not eat a whole day? Where will I get the energy? But your body is full of energy. Your body is really full of energy. You don't need to eat to produce, to get energy. You need to utilize the energy that's already inside of the food, inside of what you have already consumed, that you're just not allowing to fully break down and get utilized. Your goal is to, if you want to drastically improve your health, improve your life, your longevity, feel plenty more energy, be always ready, more active, improve your memory, improve mental function, be happier. You have to stop eating, man. Food is going to be the death of you. Think about it. You eating 3 times a day, that's literally a sin in many sacred scriptures. It's a sin of gluttony. You're over consuming food. Why are you shoving food inside of yourself? Shoving it and shoving it and shoving it. It's very counterproductive. What you have to do is you have to eat one big meal and wait 1 day, 2 days for it to fully digest. I mean, your intestines, look, the male intestine, and you should note that the female intestine is longer, because when women go through pregnancy and whatnot, they need more energy to be able to feed the fetus. And this could also be backed up scientifically by like looking evolutionarily back then. When men would go hunt, women wouldn't be able to, I mean, they would obviously gather for like fruits and nuts and whatnot, so they would be able to feed themselves, but they would have to go longer periods of time without men, because they don't know if their men would return from the hunt or not, if they would get killed or not, if they would bring home the meat or not. So they have longer intestines. They're also meant to gain more weight, because they're meant to produce offspring. Like, if the male intestine takes around 24 hours to get food from the stomach, from the entrance, all the way out the other end, like, and if the female intestine is even longer, like, how are you expecting to be eating 3-4 times a day? Like, that's what's causing bloating and gasiness. Because once you put in, like, imagine a pipe. You have a pipe, you put some food, it's going down, 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 sliding down. All of a sudden you have this huge air pocket, and then you plug it up. You plug it up with more food. And as you're repeatedly doing this, like with constant snacking, all of this, you're just like filling up your gut. You're filling up your gut with toxins. The body stops prioritizing digesting the food that's further down. You're allowing it to rot more inside of your own self, because the body needs to focus on the newer food that just got put in. So, like, how does this all relate back into plastic? You gotta, in order to deal with like this plastic epidemic worldwide, we have to first of all stop using plastic. But that's obviously not gonna happen. It's too convenient. So what you have to do is you have to consume better, consume with a more educated standpoint. Consume in such a way that you consume only once and go 1 day, 2 days without food. Now it takes like 2 to 3 weeks to transition into these states of fasting, but they're very well worth it. Consume plenty of water. You need, like, most of the time when you're feeling hungry, your body just needs some more water. It needs to hydrate itself a little more in order to continue. It'll use the energy from the water and activate biological processes to trigger energy release in order to start breaking down and utilizing more energy from all of these aspects. You're full of nutrients. Your body is full of them. Your body is full of all the nutrition it needs to keep going. This is why, like Jesus was lost in the desert for 40 days, right? Like, people have gotten lost and went without food for weeks. People do perform these 40-day fasts and they're fine. Like, they prepare for it mentally and physically, but then they don't go for food for 40 days. They abstain from water too for also very prolonged periods of time. Your body has everything it needs inside of itself. You need the oxygen to activate it. The oxygen plus the water, it activates all of these solids to start moving around in your gut. And you're just gonna be fine, man. You have to take the leap of faith. You have to let go of this materialistic. What are you? You're not your body. You're a metaphysical being. You're just whatever is thinking inside of your head. You're your consciousness. How could you be thinking that you are this body? This body is nothing. You cut off an arm. You cut off your arm. Is the cut off arm, is that still you? Or is that a dead part of you? Or what is that? Is that still feeling? Is that still living? No, you are just your consciousness. You are whatever is this complex process inside of your head that's being sent here. This information that you're processing, looking at something, learning something, observing something. Like, this is all, like, these are all tangential topics, but they're all pretty cyclical. It all ties back into the fact that you have to improve your health and improve your life in order to be able to be more woke and to be able to see the truth and to see how you're being manipulated to consume all of these faulty products and to consume all of these poisons and toxins all around you, starting with, like, this fucking piece of plastic. So yeah, man, start, like, really good piece of advice. Start fasting for prolonged periods of time. 1 day, 2 days in between meals, and then eat until you're full. Chew your food very well. I understand lots of us, like, perform this act of gluttony. We're just glutting our food down, glug, glug, glug. We just want to feel full, but you have to chew it. You have to chew it, to break it down, to shred it to small, to fill it with your saliva and digestive enzymes, and break it down into small particles so that when it enters into your intestine, it gets absorbed super easily. Otherwise, you're just, imagine, like, breaking down a rock by only grinding out the top and the outside. That's gonna take a while. But if it's broken down into, like, these tiny little pebbles, into, like, this dust and powder, you can absorb that. You can like, imagine taking a tiny particle or, like, consuming this whole rock. It's obviously easier to just absorb a few grains of dust than it is a whole chunk of something and then, like, slowly break it down only from the outside reaching to the inside, because it doesn't break down from the inside at the same time. You need to break it down. So, takeaways from this whole rant: start fasting, start taking breaks in between your meals, and consume plenty of water. The formula for how much water you should be drinking per day, how many fluid ounces, you should be drinking 0.5 to 1 fluid ounce per pound of your body. There's 33.8 fluid ounces in a liter. So if I used to weigh around 200 pounds, I had to be consuming at least 100. But really, if you're pushing the 1 fluid ounce per pound of your body, you're gonna start seeing profound chemical changes in your body. You're gonna start feeling a lot lighter, a lot better. So I was trying to push 200 fluid ounces of water into myself per day. This is 6 liters. That's insane amounts of water. But once you start really drinking, like, even 4.5, like you start like that's a lot of water. A lot of people don't consume that much, but just go for the half fluid ounce when you're starting out. Always take the small step, incremental increments. You gotta incrementally improve yourself. Nobody has ever woke up and they're on the top of a mountain. They had to make the journey up there. Journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Make it your goal today to start drinking more water. Make it your goal today to start taking longer periods of time in between snacks, in between food. Quit consuming snacks. Rather take a bigger meal. Take a bigger meal to go a longer period of time without food. Simple as that. Okay, have a good day. Hey, where is it? Enjoy.